So we might be the only tree-to-bar operation where we're actually growing the cocoa and making the chocolate bars on site.
So the Swiss aren't growing cocoa beans?
No, the Swiss are not growing cocoa beans.
Meet Mott Green, a man who left the U.S. for the sunny and laid-back lifestyle of Grenada. When he arrived, he had no idea what a big impact he would have on this tiny Caribbean island.
There are cocoa trees all over where I was living, and I noticed people weren't picking them. Why don't cocoa farmers simply just make the chocolate bars themselves?
Now Mott is rewriting the rules of the chocolate industry by empowering local cocoa farmers and creating the world's first farm-to-bar chocolate operation.
So this is our new cocoa dryer.
This is so cool.
The result is a sustainable alternative to the harsh and exploitive farming practices that have become all too common in global chocolate production.
I want to go swim in that, Mott.
The Grenada Organic Cocoa Farmers Cooperative. People join us and they become shareholders of the whole chocolate company.
Mott has dedicated his life in paradise to creating amazing chocolate that is sold throughout the world and has become a folk hero to the local Grenadians.
I think he has a wonderful chocolate because it has his natural cocoa taste.
Have you ever heard that the endorphins that come out when you eat chocolate makes you feel like you're in love? Wow. People think I'm joking if I tell them exactly how my lifestyle is here. Grenada is full of amazing spots like this.
Wow, this is gorgeous.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We're here in lush Hermitage, Grenada to meet expat Mott Green. Mott moved down here years ago to escape the chilly winters of the Northeast and ended up staying a little bit longer than expected. After falling in love with a special island cocoa drink, Mott got the idea to make chocolate from the local beans, and thus the Grenada Chocolate Factory was born. Now this chocolate is getting rave reviews all over the world, not only for its taste, but for the eco-friendly way it's produced. Let's head in and see what all the excitement's about. Hello.
Hi, Savannah. Welcome to Grenada. Welcome to our chocolate shop.
Thank you.
And our cocoa fermentary and cocoa farm.
This place is nice.
We make all these different bonbons with only local fruit and nuts and spices. Do you like passion fruit?
I love passion.
Try a passion fruit truffle. They're really,
Can I try more than one?
You can. Wow. Passion fruit real comes through strong, doesn't it?
Oh my goodness, that's incredible.
It all starts with the chocolate itself. And I can show you exactly why our chocolate's so delicious.
Great.
My name is Mott Green, and I'm from New York City. I've lived here in Grenada for 25 years, and I'm also a Grenadian citizen. Okay, well, all we do is we cross this road here, and then we're going to cross the river. One day we're going to build a bridge over there across. Right now we have to carry the cocoa beans in buckets over the river from stone to stone.
Wow, you're barefoot. That seems like it might be easier.
Well, I'm used to it. It is easier, right? You okay?
Yeah.
So here we are. We have to cross the river.
Do you have to do this every day to go to the cocoa farm?
Well, every time we go to this farm, yeah. And the hard part is carrying buckets of cocoa beans out.
Oh my gosh, I bet.
Well, I want to show you how the pods grow right out of the tree, which is where the
cool.
chocolate comes from. And what we do first in the tree-to-bar process, I call it, of course, we harvest the cocoa pods. This will work. You see, it's very beautiful.
So this is what chocolate comes from.
This is what chocolate comes from. Isn't that amazing? This is a cocoa pod.
How does a New York City native become a cocoa farmer in Grenada?
Just one thing led to the next. I was living here for 11 years before I had the idea of making a chocolate factory on a cocoa farm and starting this cooperative. And I just wanted to live in nature, and I love the Caribbean, and it's kind of escaping my squat lifestyle.
Your squat lifestyle, what does that
Yeah.
mean?
Well, when I dropped out of college, I started to live in squats.
Where are we going to college?
University of Pennsylvania in Philadelphia.
UPenn.
Yeah.
You dropped out of an Ivy League college to become a squatter?
Yeah. And pretty much the transition happened in 2 days, too.
Really?
In 1988, yeah.
Why'd you drop out?
And then I just lost interest in American society in general. So moving into squats and running soup kitchens and doing other activism and creating shelters for homeless people was fun and adventurous and made me feel much better about my life.
And what did your family think?
They didn't like it. They didn't really understand it. You know, they appreciated my idealism, wanting to help people, etc. But they didn't like the idea of not finishing school and not developing a career.
It broke our hearts that he did not graduate from college because he was a great student. But he really was serving the poor. So it's hard to be angry with him, except it was so frustrating because he didn't fulfill any of conventional upper middle class folks' dreams.
How'd you pick Grenada?
Well, you know, in New York City, the winters are very bitter. And I think that was part of it. I felt like it was time to roam around a warm area. So I went to a few different islands. But I definitely fell in love with the vibe of the people here more so than the other islands. So I just kept coming back here since that first trip.
Couldn't get enough.
Yeah, I couldn't get enough. When I first got here, I had a little backpack and a little bit of money, not very much. I figured I would just find a place to sleep on the beach and see what happened, and I had no idea what would happen and what to expect.
Mott was a person that was not afraid of the unknown. He has an enthusiastic, reckless abandonment where he could throw himself into a scenario and see which way things are going to fall and fly.
I took the little money I had and just scrounged and scavenged a little food from trees and things like that. And I spent a certain amount of time at the beach and just walking around, mostly just listening to reggae and cooking, hanging out. It was quite adventurous. And then this guy named Goti befriended me and told me that he's from this little village on the other side of the island called Hermitage, and that there's an old bamboo house there that he used to live in that we could fix up, and he would teach me how to cook and how to build bamboo houses, and I could come up there with him.
He actually built himself a bamboo house, electrified it with solar energy, brought water up from a river. Incredibly adventurous to live by himself in the rainforest in Grenada.
Not being part of the problem in society and the possibility of living independent, all of those things were, I think, a real process of learning to be alone in a way that I found very beautiful and I was very attracted to.
Oh, wow. Whoa,
And,
that looks like an alien.
And you can suck the fruit.
That's actually kind of sweet.
Until it's fermented, but the fruit is sweet. So you can just put it in your mouth and suck the fruit off the seed.
The bean is what makes the chocolate.
Right.
And then the fruit that grows around it is just...
The fruit's part of the chocolate making process in a way, because the fruit goes into the fermenter with the seeds.
Wow, that's so good.
Oh, you want to see more of the farm?
Yeah, let's see the
Look for
next
some
part.
more
I want
pods?
to see the next
Yeah.
part of the process.
Right, so this is our new cocoa dryer. And it's a big improvement.
This is so cool. When you first came down here, your idea wasn't to create a chocolate company, probably. I would
No,
imagine.
not at all, not at all. I had no particular interest in that at all. I discovered cocoa here. There are cocoa trees all over where I was living, and I noticed people weren't picking them. So I wondered, with all my cocoa farmer friends around complaining they weren't getting enough for their cocoa beans, I was just wondering, why don't farmers ever just make the chocolate themselves? You know, then they could
Nobody was
sell
making
it.
chocolate here in Grenada at the time.
No. People told me, well, the price is so low that they're getting, it's not really worth it anymore to pick it. And I thought that was so crazy. It's a very high valued cocoa bean, was my understanding, on the world market, going into very expensive chocolate. So I figured, of all places with such good cocoa, why don't cocoa farmers simply just make the chocolate bars and export the chocolate bars?
David had this idea that people in the Caribbean become impoverished because they leave agriculture and they go into the cities. His vision was to bring people back to the agriculture with the idea that he was going to pay the farmers good money for their cocoa.
Grenada had all these beautiful natural resources, but instead of harnessing them and creating something out of them, all the natural resources were being shipped out. So he said, instead of importing these cheap, poisonous products from the outside, I could take these natural materials here and create something organic and create a cooperative, which would then help to feed into people's own relationship with the island itself.
Bean to bar, from the agriculture all the way to these beautiful chocolate bars that even sell in Whole Foods.
We're getting quite well known as being one of the best chocolates in the world. You know, by extension, I might be one of the best chocolate makers in the world. Nothing stopping us except for a lot more hard work and time to make a lot more. Over here is where I live. It's also our tool storage area.
You literally live, eat,
in
and
the
breathe
tool room.
chocolate, Mott.
I do, yeah. I'm completely frantic when I'm here trying to keep this company going. It helps to have some level of inner calm, which I think I've developed here. Here we are at Annandale Waterfall.
This is nice.
Grenada is full of amazing spots like this.
Wow, this is gorgeous.